Fed Chair Jay Powell and company insists their inflation target remains all the way down to 2%. So there's still quite a gap between 2 and, well, let's just call it 5%, but the market doesn't care. Guess who should? You. To the floor show and two of our favorite traders, Teddy Weisberg and Dutch Masters. All right, Teddy, like shingles, the market doesn't care. But very important that everybody watching understands the momentum that we see with, say, the S&P 500. Goldman Sachs just raised its S&P target to 4,500. So do you want to fight the tape or you go all in? Which is it?
Well, I guess fighting the tape has always been a mistake, just like fighting the Fed, Liz, has always been a mistake. But I'm not quite a believer. I think there are plenty of alternative resources for funds that you don't want to put at risk. But I would agree the tone of the market is improving. The whole trick is, will we get away from the few stocks that have been leading the parade, these big tech stocks, which have basically been at the head of the parade now for the last 10, 12 months, and will the strength spread out to the other stocks? Now, the S&P is acting relatively decently, and we've left bear market territory, but in the S&P, of course, are all these large high-tech names, which basically have a big percentage influence on the overall average. The Dow, pretty anemic, can't seem to get out of its own way. But, you know, people say, well, the Dow's not representative of the broader market.
Yeah, because it's 30 stocks.
Right, but the fact is, if you look at the long-term charts of both the S&P 500 and the Dow, they pretty much track each other over time.
Could I just make this point? And Dutch, we're looking at Apple. I don't know if we can pull up Apple. Apple is on track for a record close. Apple is one of the stocks, those 5 or 6 that Teddy just referenced, that have really been what's lifting the market. Some people call them Manon, Microsoft, Apple. You know, Netflix, for example, NVIDIA, rather, one of the ends is NVIDIA. That's been great. Alphabet, Google. So tell me, are you in the camp of I don't believe it quite yet, like Teddy is?
Oh, no. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, Trader Z, our resident genius, and myself were strategizing and looking at the charts, and we really started to see that the tone of this market was really coming together. And we thought that, hey, this thing might actually break out. And as you recall, the last time I was on, I said that I think that the tech stocks are going to drag the S&P up, and that's what's happened.
Well, yeah, if you look at year-to-date, S&P far outpacing, right? Far outpacing everybody, or sorry, NASDAQ, up 28% year-to-date for the NASDAQ. Then you flip it over to the S&P, and it kind of follows there. Dow, as Teddy mentions, is sort of a laggard. But you're saying, no, just go with it. Go with this flow. Are you shorting? You've always had some shorts when you come on this show.
No, I know. You know, we started going long early in the year. We really didn't. We did a couple of tactical shorts, but we have not been short most of this year. We're up around 86% in our modern portfolio so far this year. You know, we've had a decent month, 18% last month. We're up about 3.5% this month already. And I got to tell you, we really like what we see, and we do see this thing broadening out. The financials are coming back. The regional banks are calming down. We may have a hiccup here and there with that, but I'll be honest with you, people don't seem to care about anything that's going on out there. The reality is you can point to 20 things to be negative about, but this market is going up and people are coming in and they're putting money to work.
See?
And I mean, you got a NASDAQ up
acting
20,
like shingles. Shingles doesn't care. Teddy, the VIX. Oh my gosh. The VIX, let's call it the no fear index. It may be slightly higher today, but down 32% year to date. So that to me is a slight, I mean, I'll give you this, a slight danger signal, too much complacency. But I mean, short of a black swan event, what's going to bring this market down?
I don't think we have too much complacency, because I think there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable and are still on the sidelines.
But they're losing money, Teddy.
Well, you know, but you can make an argument that no risk is better than risk if you have an exposure that's not going to work. Because you get away from these large tech names, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of names. The market breadth is basically negative. I'm not suggesting that Butch is wrong. And quite frankly, we're closet bulls because, I mean, we still own plenty of stocks. The problem is we have been reluctant to put new money to work in any new names because so far, anything we've touched has really, quite frankly, not worked.
Well, what about treasuries? You have loved treasuries. I call it party of five. There are 5 different durations of bonds between 1 month and 1 year that are all yielding 5% or more.
That's correct. Today, the 3-month is 5.303. The 6-month is 5.38 something. We bought them again today, and we'll continue to buy them with the excess cash. But also, it's a good trade for folks that, quite frankly, don't want to assume risk in a market that still has a lot of unknowns. Now, there's another thing that we haven't talked about, because if the market's right, and we never fight the tape, it's telling us that the economy is probably doing okay, corporate America is doing okay, which means what the Fed is doing has had no impact so far.
Yeah, well, because...
So what are they going to do with rates going forward?
Again, you guys, I am telling you, this is one of the most important weeks in a year, more than a year, because it's been more than a year that the Fed has continued to raise rates. We will find out if they'll do it again on Wednesday. The market pricing in a pause at the moment. Dutch, as Teddy's talking and saying, I'm not so sure, we're hitting session highs on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Right now, we've got the Dow up 143 points, high of the session for the Dow. It's a brand new session high here. So we're looking very strongly at some of these names. What are you buying? Give me something beyond just the broader market.
Yeah, so we got a solar stock, NXT, that we bought. It's called NextTracker. It was an IPO earlier this year. It has no overhang, okay? Everybody in that stock is making money. And if you think that solar is coming back, which we think it is, and we think solar is very real, then, you know, you don't want to own any of the other stocks in the solar sector because these guys have nothing but blue sky above. The other thing that we're buying is Altair Energy, ALTR. Altair Engineering, sorry, ALTR. This is an infrastructure play with a technology twist to it, high performance computers, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and a very powerful engineering platform. And so those are 2 stocks that we recently put on the platform. And if you look at what's happening in terms of broadening out, okay, Adobe goes up 20 points every day. Okay, if you look at, you know, these stocks that have been blasted and beat up, like Clearfield, for example, you know, CLFD, this is a stock that got blasted, okay? But these guys are coming off the bottom really hard and really aggressively. So it is broadening out. Some of these stocks might be way down off their highs, like Adobe, for example, but I mean, that stock does not want to stop.
I'm just watching this market. Sorry, I've got one eye on what we are seeing here. Another session high for the Dow Jones Industrials, up 150 points. And it is very important to watch the S&P because now it's up 33 points, 43.32. We have about 51 minutes or 49 minutes left to trade. So everybody, you got to watch. First time that we will have closed above 4,300 if we can hold these gains since August of last year. Teddy, Dutch, my thanks to both of you. Dutch, look at you. You're all casual. Dutch is in Vegas, and you're stuck here with me.
Well, I'm sorry, and I called him Butch. He could be Butch, he could be Dutch, whatever he likes. I'll make sure I call him.
He's our Dutch. We love our carnivore guys. Big kisses to the carnivore traders out there in Vegas. Thank you, guys.